Hi everyone. Okay, so today we're going to talk about the real reason most people have trouble losing weight. It's a rare person that comes into my office that doesn't want to lose a few pounds. Some people want to lose more weight than others, but typically everyone has a few lbs they'd like to shed. So this is how it usually goes. We go through a typical day of eating and we talk about ways to tweak their diet, making some healthy swaps and exchanges. And frankly, it often shocks me how well people are eating on a typical day. It's a rare client that sits in my office and tells me they're eating pancakes for breakfast and McDonald's for lunch. So what's the problem? Why can't people shed those unwanted pounds? Well, it's the weekend's fault. Yes, the weekend. And the problem is the weekend comes creeping around every 5 days or so. I know the struggle is real. I'm going to show you a graphic by Carter Good, whose Instagram page I just love. It illustrates perfectly the point I'm trying to make. But first, I want to say two things. First, I know that calorie counting is a process that gives most people hives. But if in fact you're trying to lose weight and you're coming up against roadblocks, I'm going to explain why counting calories is a good process to go through. The second thing I want to say is even more important to keep in mind. One of the reasons I don't love calorie counting is because it's not all about calories in and calories out. 100 calories of fresh kale is going to create a different environment inside your body than 100 calories of processed vegetable chips, for example. So please remember, I am always advocating for whole food choices when it comes to calories. But for the purpose of the bigger point I'm trying to make today, let's just focus on calories in terms of a numbers game. If you have a general idea of how many calories you want to be consuming every day based on your age and activity level, then you can create a basic equation of the deficit you want to create in caloric intake in order to lose a little weight. There is a great little calculator which I've included in the blog post, so check that out to get a sense of what your personal intake should be. It gives you both the calories you should be consuming to maintain weight and the calories to be consuming to lose weight. It also gives you a third number, which is calories to consume to lose weight super fast. But ignore that number. Losing weight fast is not something I ever advocate for. Once you know what your personal numbers are, I suggest that people use food tracking devices on their phone like MyFitnessPal or Lose It, both apps you can get to help you with this process. I'm not saying you need to obsessively count calories for the rest of your life, but if you do this for a couple of weeks, you're going to train yourself on portion control and understanding how many calories you're really consuming each day, which more often than not shocks people when they really start holding themselves accountable. But coming back to my original point, here is the real problem. I can say with almost 100% certainty, if you are eating well during the week and exercising but still can't seem to lose weight, it's likely because of this. Okay, so here is a great post by Carter Good. I love his Instagram page. I highly recommend you check him out. But this little graph represents what I'm talking about. So if we have a goal of 1,800 calories per day to lose weight, and we stick to that most days of the week, then look what happens when Friday and Saturday arrive. And all of a sudden we've got pizza and beer and alcohol and pancakes and all the things that potentially happen on the weekend, and our calorie intake spikes to almost double, okay? And so even if we get back to normal on Sunday, when you average the 7 days out, you're getting an average of 2,300 calories a day, which, as you remember, is the calories you need to maintain weight. So this is not a problem. This scenario is not a problem if you're trying to maintain weight. But if you're trying to lose weight, it ain't gonna work, because the way we need to lose weight is by creating a deficit between maintenance calorie intake and weight loss calorie intake, okay? So again, this right here is what we call the 80-20 rule. And that, again, is fantastic for maintaining weight. But when it comes to losing weight, we really have to create more of a 90-10 rule, meaning you have a cheat meal per week, not a cheat weekend per week. I know, I'm the devil for shedding light on something we all do. But here's the deal. This is what I like to say to my clients. If you're really trying to lose a little weight, it's short-term loss, meaning saying no to some calorie-packed meals with alcohol, for long-term gain of losing the weight that's plaguing you. Then, once you reach the goal you want to get to go back to the 80-20 rule illustrated in the graphic, eating really well during the week and loosening the reins on the weekends. And I know you're thinking to yourself, but I just want to enjoy myself and not think about what I'm eating for a day or two, and then I'll make really good choices again come Monday. I get it. We all do this. But here's my challenge to you. Think about how good you'll feel when those jeans might feel a tad looser. This too is a wonderful feeling. So it all depends on what your goals are. And I say this with total compassion because this is a constant struggle for me too. But the only times I've ever seen significant weight loss is when I tighten the reins on the weekends as well. So to wrap things up, I want to reiterate that I don't want to advocate for feelings of deprivation and restriction and making yourself miserable. There really are ways to make good choices and still enjoy your life. This is what I spend a lot of time helping people with. The general point I want to make is if you want to lose a little weight and you want to get off the hamster wheel of frustration of not being able to shed those unwanted pounds, I encourage you to take a deeper look at what's happening with your food and alcohol on the weekends and see if you can tighten things up just a little bit, enabling your body to burn off some of that unwanted fat. This doesn't have to be torturous, it just requires a few tweaks and changes. So if you go back to my blog post, I've included the link to the calorie calculator I was referring to and the suggestions for the food tracking apps for your phone. Just give it a try for a couple of weeks without putting enormous pressure on yourself and see what you find. The only way we can ever really make change is with information. If we discover how many calories we really are eating every day versus just a loose journal up inside our heads, then we can figure out how to shed those unwanted pounds. Okay, so I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to send me a message. And as always, thanks for watching.